This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Previously on Back to the Story.
At least they seem to be rewarding our efforts. For a moment there, I thought we were about to be punished.
Now, in addition to what you have already done, slaying the Shadowed Links, we have to get a couple things straight. You will speak nothing of the halfling, you will speak nothing of the name you read upon the cloak, and you will not speak anything of the cloak itself.
So the best solution was let Kalvyn kill the thing, because Kalvyn's always the one in the group who sacrifices himself.
Not a big fan of keeping things caged.
Is there a reason you go so far out of your way?
So, I spent the break getting your shopping list. So, you guys ready to jump back in and get your gear?
Aye, Captain.
Yay, okay. So you guys begin to shop it, taking the next couple of hours to do so. For those of you that go near the smithy section, the forges, and the black smoke and the soot and the iron, you can find dragon chainmail, essentially. There's a one for 150 gold pieces. That's an AC of 17. Still has the disadvantage of stealth, still has the strength requirement that is built with some scales. There's one that has black scales, and there's one that has red scales. There's another piece that's chainmail that's expensive. There's one for 3,000, but it gives resistance to fire damage, and another one that's green that gives resistance to poison damage with an AC of 18.
Yeah, that's a little out of my range. I guess I will go for the black chainmail for 150.
Okay, yeah, 150.
You said that it was AC 17?
AC 17, weighs 50 pounds. Still have the disadvantage on stealth, and the strength required is 13.
Great.
So it has black scales all over it. Looks very well made. Anything using dragon scale, you're not working with it unless you're good. It doesn't give resistance, but it does have a higher AC for how much.
And I just need to clarify, it's not going to, because it's dragon, there's not any metal pieces I have to take off because I can't wear metal. I can wear dragon because it's creature-ish.
Yeah, so in inspecting it and asking these questions, it has the dragon scale and has leather that's made from the wings of the dragon.
Awesome.
So it doesn't have any metal or even regular leather. It's dragon leather.
I will buy that.
Okay. So the
I'll
next
take the
one,
red.
there's some other, where is it? So there's the red. Are you talking about the expensive one for 3,000? Or the chainmail?
If Valas Soul bless me with 3,000 gold, but
So there's an AC 17 chainmail, medium armor for 150 that's red. There's also more of a splint mail. There's a 200 gold one that doesn't have any dragon scale on it, but does give that AC of 18. Or I'm sorry, AC 17. And then there is a blue dragon scale splint mail for 2,000 that also gives resistance on lightning.
Well, I want awesome, but I don't.
But there are two chainmails that get you 17, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take I'll take the red if he takes the black.
The red chainmail. Okay.
That's 50 less than the splint, gives the same bonus.
Okay. So there you go. There, for the dragon-studded leather, there's one for 150 that gives the AC of 12 plus dex. Essentially studded leather made out of some black dragon scales.
And if I trade in the armor that's not damaged that I had bought before, the leather from before,
give you 30 back.
Okay. So that's 120.
A total exchange of 120, yeah.
Perfect. I will do that.
Basilisk blood, 100 gold for the small vial. It's like maybe 5 to 10 mLs, maybe 7.5 coagulated old blood.
And shaking it, so in all my medical knowledge and my alchemical knowledge, does it seem like it would be enough for Varys?
No. I mean, it might help a little bit, but it's not very much. It's a small vial.
I'll pass on that then.
Okay. Slut mail. Diamonds. You can go to the jeweler, find some diamonds. You're buying 2 diamonds that were worth about 300 each.
I think if everybody contributed 110, plus the party funds that I already had, that would be enough for 2 worth 500 each.
Okay. Yeah, you can find 2 for 500. So they're not perfectly cut, but you can get 2 that are one's worth a little over 500, 510. The other one's worth a little over 500, 520.
Okay.
So you can get those because they're not perfectly cut. Uncut diamonds, so that's a total of 1,030.
Okay.
For those.
And I will pick up the locket while I'm at it.
Yeah. And it has
put the lodestone back in.
The symbol engraved upon it. Clothes, 5 silver for a basic outfit.
Okay.
5 gold for like a fancy silk one, but just like cotton, 5 silver.
I think, I'll get 1 fancy one not.
Okay. Divination tools, 25 gold. There's a few that you can find. There's some bones that looks like supposedly made from dragon bone. It's hard to tell because they've been cut down. And there's another one that's like a card-based system, but the cards are circular. So divination tools are 25 gold. And paper is either 1 copper per page, 1 silver for 10 pages, or a gold for 100 pages of parchment.
I will take the dragon bone dice.
Okay. I mentioned paper. Back to, there was a shield, Kalvyn, you noticed. Looks like heavily reinforced shield with like sharp metal on the ends. And it's basically a +2 to your AC shield, but also if you smash someone with it, it'll deal 1d4 bludgeoning damage. So most people would have to use their action to do so, basically an attack. You would be able to do so on a bonus action.
What's the price?
That's 20 gold. It's not pretty, but it's violently functional.
I was so baffled that I hit the end call instead of the unmute. Yeah, that's a without a question. 20 gold, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you put your pretty but beat up sun shield away and take this rough looking iron shield with serrated sort of strips on it for bashing people. Meli and Amsen, you guys look for spells. You're able to find a small shop that sells them. You're able to find magic missile, fog cloud, mage armor, shield. You can't find disguise shelf, but the others you can find. Those are 100 gold per spell scroll.
I can buy one for you. You want?
I can afford 3. So, and you said all 5 except for disguise self. Okay, so there's 4 there. Okay. I mean, you don't need to, but okay.
Do you want it though?
Kind of do.
I'll give him the 100 gold for it then.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So you buy those 4 spells. I think that was everything for your little shopping adventure. Does that sound about right? Okay. So you guys take a couple hours. It's now probably getting to be mid-afternoon or so. Sun's still overhead. As you finish your shopping adventure and kind of meet back, we'll say in the trade district, just outside of the trading center proper, as designated before. What would you like to do now?
Before we actually do anything, just for the record, I put the diamonds in the vest rather than in a pocket or pouch.
And do I see where you stored these? Since I'm the one who's using them?
Not yet, but I'll tell you later.
Okay. All right, well, if anyone needs me, I'm thinking I'm going to go back to the Temple of Ayin and maybe talk to the priestess there and see if she can teach me some stuff about resurrection.
Do you need anyone to come with you?
I don't need anyone to, but if you want to, you're more than welcome.
I'm up for it.
Before we all split, do we want to... I mean, I know there's still been some question about Orzana's fate. Do we want to hash that out real quick? Maybe decide what we might need to do or at least to confirm that she won't be considered lost goods?
Now's as good a time as any.
Maybe not in the middle of the street, though.
I don't know why that is significant, but I will adhere to your wisdom.
Call it an overabundance of caution, or paranoia if you prefer.
I guess we will move to someplace more secluded, something more comfortable and suiting Ellory's paranoia.
Now, forgive me, but what does still need to be hashed out here? I thought the agreement settled it all, but perhaps I misunderstood where y'all left things.
As I recall, the conversation went, hey, give us those things, and like, all right, here's those things, and cool, that was fun, see you around. So, Orzana was never really mentioned, at least with the folk that at one point may have wanted her.
I mean, as far as I could tell, they didn't seem to care or even necessarily know about her. They didn't ask any questions.
I wonder if this was, forgive me, I don't know your friend, but this was his way of disposing of her. It was hard enough getting those orbs out through surgical methods. I imagine these people would be a lot less precise in their removal.
Yeah, I got the feeling that wasn't something that she was expected to survive.
I wonder if he literally didn't care, if they didn't care if it was the same as handing a box to them. She wasn't important because she was just a container. Which, gods, that is terrible to say, but...
Right, but some people, I mean, some people, if they think they have a still functioning, even if it is just a box, will maybe want that box returned.
Do we go back and find out, or do we just take her away?
I think that's up to Ellory.
I think just take her away. My concern, besides finding her someplace safe where she can start a new life, my concern after that is more about what happens when I get home and see Voyage again.
I might have discussed that first bit with her, and thought of an idea if you are up for a brief detour once we arrive on another continent. I was talking about bringing you home. I sort of forgot momentarily that I already invited Orzana. Might be a good place for her to get a new start, when no one's going to put her in chains ever again.
You've talked to her about it?
Through one of the shipmates, because I don't quite speak Kalvyn.
What did she think about it?
She seemed to like that there would be trees, and there are plenty.
That makes sense considering where she comes from.
There are many other wood elves in the colony. I think she would fit in well after some time.
If she's happy with that, then I have no problem taking a detour to get her there.
Agreed.
And I was already planning on giving her the payment that I was given for taking her here, so...
She won't need much where she's going if I'm going to take her there, but it would be appreciated. The colony does need things that coin does provide.
Considering all she's been through, it's the least I can do.
I think you've done quite a bit, more than you've given yourself credit for. I only wish that building looked like it could be burned down.
The night is young.
Let's not commit arson.
Also, it was stone open pillars, as I believe, which seems bad for fire. Maybe we'll think of something else before we leave, though.
So we just take her and go. That's a concession. And Ellory, when we get home, if you need help dealing with Voyage, we've got 6 of us at least willing to help out.
If by dealing you mean kill them, yeah. That sounds mighty fine.
Yeah,
if
I have
the situation calls for that. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Hey Zeke, what do you think the situation calls for?
Fire and brimstone Ambershore has never seen, but that is a conversation for a later date.
Look, Voyage has been my friend for a very long time. But I can't let this stand. And I look at Kalvyn. You know, you were right pretty much every time. I should never have been dealing with him.
No. I mean, yeah, I was I'm right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Pretty much everything involving him has ended up being more trouble than it was worth.
Whatever you need done, Ellory, we're here. Whether that's making someone disappear, or just roughing them up a bit, or just standing there to give you support.
I think if I'm going to be burning that bridge, and possibly some buildings along with it, it's going to take more than roughing him up.
That sounds like a wonderful adventure.
Maybe a different adjective, Amsen.
Everything is an adventure if you choose to look at it that way.
Oh, no, I just meant wonderful.
Yeah, the wonderful part.
I can have positive adjectives for negative things. It only amplifies the negativity of such negative nouns.
I was helping Ellory murder a man. I don't think Hans is wonderful.
It'll be a baptism by fire, and it will be glorious.
I'll take that.
I don't know if fire would be the best method.
Nature has many weapons.
This is so weird to talk about.
Yeah.
Would you rather we change the subject then?
We'll have to come back to it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to change the subject, so...
We'll have to come back to this later to figure out exactly what we're going to do. I need to put some thought into it, but
got a whole
for now,
think about it.
Yeah. Zeke?
Oh, I was just going to ask about this chainmail. It's a very different look for me, and I'm not so comfortable in it yet. Kalvyn, yours look great. The red is great with the coloring and the green. It's not holiday season at all.
Thanks. I kind of just took the one you left over, so... I mean...
It's not very good with my coloring. Sorry.
I'll walk around Zeke and kind of give him like a look over and go, it fits you well enough. I mean, you're not really a black type person. I wouldn't necessarily peg you for the darker colors, but you look fine in it.
There were limited options. I was hoping for green, but apparently those haven't been taken down recently.
You both look fantastic.
There's like a pose. Thank you.
I murmur something under my breath.
Well, is there anything else we need to do in the city before we leave? We still got about a day.
I think there was still some business at Temple's.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and see if I can maybe get some education on some higher magics. Some advice, some this and that. I might need to... Well, it might be good to talk to another leader of Aiain's flock. Talking to Varys is great, but everyone has their own perspectives. And it'd be good to expand my understanding of her and her teachings.
Who has that stuff that we got from the catacombs?
Oh,
I think Ball does.
Yeah, he took most of it.
Ball! Wow,
he's at the docks.
Oh, no.
He's showing off for his friend.
They have been close. Do you think there's... I mean, I'm not good at reading that sort of thing, but... Should I talk to her?
And what would you say?
I don't know, but... I mean, that's my brother. I just want to make sure he's, he's fine, and she's not gonna hurt him.
I think his innocence will be clear.
Wait, what are we talking about right now?
Ball's innocence, apparently.
Okay.
I'm gonna go grab Ball. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go find Ball.
Why don't we all just make our way there? We got stuff to drop off, extra sets of armor we don't need. We could find him. We could all go.
Okay. And then I'll head out.
So you all head back momentarily, back to the docks to the ship where you find Ball. Fishing over the side. Ball, you caught a few fish. Not as big as the salmon, whatever, but you do find a few saltwater fish.
Am I doing this, the idea is to kind of, make sure that she notices that I'm suddenly not as bad at fishing as I was before. So does this kind of happen in, I'll go seek her out and kind of be check out what I learned kind of vibe.
Okay. Make a survival check in that case.
Alright, let's see. Survival. It's a 19.
Yeah. Yeah, you take the bait, like Ezekiel showed you, putting it onto the nicer rod and not just a stick and string. You catch a few fish. Some of them are sort of medium-sized, but you do catch one or two that are pretty large.
Is she around? Am I...
Oh, yeah, she's watching you.
Yeah, okay.
She stands back and kind of leans against something, drinking some salt lime rum. And she's watching you fish.
I'll look at her and say, see, I'm not so bad anymore.
Pretty good.
And as I'm saying that, I am removing the hooks from the fish and throwing the fish back into the water.
That one's nice. What are you doing?
We've already ate. We don't need to eat again. There's no other chance.
She puts the bottle down and jumps in the water.
I'm not going to throw the fishing hook at her, so I'll look down and say, I don't think you're going to catch the fish.
You notice as she goes underwater, she doesn't surface right away. A couple minutes pass, and she still hasn't surfaced. 5 minutes.
Okay, if it's 5 minutes, 10. Then I think I'll be, no longer thinking that she's just chasing the fish, and I'll, get into the water and see what's going on.
Paul jumps in. Salt water going everywhere. The waves are still kind of rolling under you. Swimming around, give me a perception check.
Did I just kill her? Trying to show off my fishing skills? That's a 15.
You see movement underwater. You see her swimming. Coming up towards the surface as the light kind of is able to penetrate, you see her better. Her shaved head, and she's swimming with both hands, and in her mouth she's holding the fish. She kind of comes up, surfaces again, taking the fish out of her mouth. Got it.
Ball's kind of half catching his breath in the adrenaline rush moment, and it's just how did you do that?
Well, I'm a golden elf. We can swim pretty well.
And breathe? You don't need to breathe?
For a time.
And then I kind of look up at the shore or you know what? Maybe in this panic moment, when I jumped down, I also threw the fishing rod into the water and I just kind of dropped it and jumped in. So then I kind of look at the fishing rod floating there in the water and I say, I guess you're still a better fisher than I am.
Swimmer, maybe. I'll race you. And she kind of gestures towards the dock to race you towards it.
Meanwhile, like a duck floating underwater, my legs are going crazy as I'm trying to hold myself up in all this armor. So, I struggle to try to catch up with her.
Yeah, and you notice her, she has a swim speed. She's very fast. She swims to the dock, gets up, kind of turns around and waits for you to climb as you see the rest of them. And as you're climbing up onto the dock, you see your friends kind of heading down the dock towards the boat.
I think, if I just see them heading towards the boat, maybe I'll just continue my interaction with her and just kind of say, you're right, you're also a better swimmer. And it's between big breaths, it's very clear that I am struggling. So as soon as I kind of get out, I'm kind of starting to take off some of my armor to kind of get a chance to dry.
Vesper sets a hand on her hip.
So you clank it off, and she says, here, I'll help. And she jumps on your back and begins trying to undo the straps to get the shoulder pauldrons off and the horse chainmail armor that you wear.
I think I should talk to her.
He appears to be doing just fine without your help.
I'm not intending to help.
Oh, come on, Vesper.
Look, he's an adult. He can do whatever he wants. I just want to talk to her and make sure that everything is copacetic.
Vesper, I will not presume to ask you a question, but if your father wanted to talk to that person before anything happened, would you be okay with that?
I've never really thought about that, actually.
Oh, that makes sense. I'm so sorry.
What?
Nothing. What were we here for? That skull? We should, let's give them a minute. We can go on. I'm gonna go onto the boat.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, so you walk past this golden elf, who's kind of climbed onto Ball's shoulder, helping him get his armor off. Ezekiel, you board the boat again.
Give him a thumbs up as I'm going.
And then maybe as he's going, I'm like, I caught some.
You certainly did, big fella.
I think as they're heading onto the boat, I'm just gonna stop by Ball and say, "Hey, Ball, where'd you put that skull?"
It's in my room.
Okay, thank you. And I'll go away.
Just ominously at the table.
Yeah, as I pass by, I just kind of look at Ball, look at the elf girl, pause for a moment, smile a little, keep going.
I think at this point, Vesper's mind kind of catches up a little bit, and she just kind of avoids looking at either of them as she gets on the boat.
There'll be a point here where it's like when Ball notices that everyone just kind of comes in and, more or less ignores them and just goes to do other stuff. Ball's like, kind of, I guess, curiosity, trying to figure out what everyone else is up to. So, I guess once he gets all his armor off and gives it a chance to dry, he's gonna, I guess, turn to the golden elf?
Yeah. She has very golden tan skin. Her hair is shaved, but it looks like it's a darker brown. Her eyes are a vibrant blue-green, the color of the sea.
And I'll turn and say, maybe next time when I'm not wearing all of that, then see who the better swimmer is.
Maybe tonight on the beach. And she kind of leans in closer and kind of tries to pull you down to her level so she can whisper, I got something in town today. It'll help.
And then Ball not whispering is like, what did you get?
You'll see. I'll meet you at sundown. Right here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to see what my friends are doing. They seem to have ignored me.
Have fun. And she kind of trounces back off the dock towards the city.
And then I'm gonna, I guess go downstairs and probably to my room, assuming that Amsen asked me because he wants the skull, and just kind of go meet up with him there.
Okay. So you guys the rest of you have kind of gone down below deck on this ship. You guys don't have a room. You're just using hammocks on the sides of the ship. Ball, you kind of have had to sleep on the floor because no hammock will support you. There were separate rooms for Allie and the family, but those haven't been used since they left. But you guys go downstairs. You guys see Ball still somewhat wet, holding just all of his armor kind of in a pile. Clanking, clank, clank, clank.
And as Ball comes in, Amsen's totally, elbow deep in his backpack trying to find this stupid skull.
Yeah, you pull it out. You see a ivory skull about human-sized, glyphs and runes carved into it all over, with one central one. The jaw is missing on the skull.
Oh, this thing looks weird. I'll set it aside, and I think I'll look for the hilt as well.
Okay. Yeah, you pull that out as well. Just a dark black hilt. Looks like iron, but darker.
Okay. And then I'll grab both of them, and then I'll place them on, maybe some sort of table that we have in there, and just wait for everybody else to show up.
Yeah, at this point, Ball comes down with his pile of armor, and everyone's there.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I did. These things
never really got a chance to figure out what it does.
Yeah, well, I now understand how to cast an identification spell, and we have Meli, and I look at him. So, it shouldn't be too difficult for us to find out what these things are. I'm just worried that they might have some sort of similar possession, I guess is the word, that bow had, which I don't want to expose Meli to, nor do I want to be exposed to. So, this would be interesting.
So placing the items on the table, who identifies them? Or do both of you kind of work together?
If Meli wants to do it, I can inspire her.
Yeah, I want to do it.
Okay. So, I'm going to inspire Meli. This is going to be fun, because I've been waiting, since February to use these, but you were gone. So, I think the one that I'll use is, this one. Everybody loves the things you do, from the way you talk to the way you move. Everybody here is counting on you, 'cause you're really smart, and we know you can too.
Thank you.
So that is a D8 that you can use on a skill check, ability check, saving throw, and attack roll.
Okay.
Okay, so, Meli, which one are you looking at first, the skull or the black hilt?
I'll do the skull first.
Okay, so taking the skull in your hand, beginning the ritual of identification with the pearl you have, you cast Identify, and eventually find out this is like a wand or a staff, or crystal. This is an arcane focus. You can cast magic through the skull itself. In addition to that, you can once per day, using a ritual with 1 ounce of shadow salt, and for a 1-minute ritual, you can open a portal into the fallen shadow world. That gate lasts for an hour. The ritual is a trance requiring concentration and it's at this point where you hear a voice in your head. Right hand. All my glyphs. Left. Trace the lines of portals and stars. You begin to hear instructions. Make a saving throw for me. A wisdom saving throw.
Okie dokie.
This is why I inspired you.
Thank you. I'm gonna roll my D8, wasn't it?
That is
D8.
correct. D8.
19.
19, okay. The voice is distant but commanding, but you push against it and you can still hear the words, but you're not compelled to follow these instructions. But these instructions describe a ritual tracing the glyphs and lines and runes and carved upon the skull, which would, at the end, if you did it, would open up this portal into the shadow
to
world.
it?
You can certainly try.
Okay. I was gonna say, sorry, but I'm not following your instructions today. And, no one will be in the foreseeable future.
See about that.
Okay. And I'm just gonna sort of put it back down, and I'll tell the others.
Who were you talking to?
I didn't actually ask.
You don't need to ask. No, I don't think we need to. No, I think we should get rid of this thing immediately.
I apologize again for giving you yet another magical item with something in it.
Yeah, that's okay. It wasn't bad. It's fine. He was trying to get me to open a portal. Well, I don't actually know. The skull was trying to get me to open a portal. It can open a portal to the shadow place.
It
shadow
tried
world.
to get you to do fucking what?
Oh my god.
It's fine,
No, it's fine. No problem. Everything's fine.
No.
It's
Nothing to worry about.
That is not fine.
Oh my god. No.
Don't
I'm like,
touch it.
Amsen's like, everything's fine. And he looks at Meli like,
We're
Don't-
taking that back to the temple, right?
Oh yeah, I'm going there right now and I'm bringing it with me.
what if the sword hilt is something similar?
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, make it 3 for 3 cursed sentient atoms.
Oh.
You want
Yeah,
another
real
one?
suspicious of. Yes, please.
Want another one? Okay. I'll just, because I want to save these, I'll just sing the same thing there. And then, you get another D8.
Okay. So, Meli, you take the hilt, the black hilt, and identify this. This time you don't hear a voice in your head. You find this shade saber. The saber of shadow can coalesce. You see it in your mind as the arcane lattice of the energy. You find out this shade saber can coalesce shadows nearby in dim or dark light, forming billowing, dancing flames in the form of shadow as hard as any metal. You can, as a bonus action, conjure it but the blade will disappear if it's brought into sunlight, leaving only the dark hilt. The hilt itself, if used in daylight, just acts as a club, but if attuned to it, you can use strength or dex to use it, and it deals 1d8 or 1d10 cold damage if you're using two hands, and has the thrown property of 40 feet.
That sounds badass.
Are we in, darkness now?
Yeah, you're below deck. There's a few torches, but nothing, no sunlight.
How long does it take to attune something? I forget the rules.
Takes a short rest, usually. About an hour.
Okay. I'll just say, if you guys give me an hour, I can show you something really cool.
Maybe tell us what first, since everything else has been cursed?
It's not cursed. It basically is the Shade Saber, and it'll appear and disappear in sunlight.
I mean, didn't we get stabbed by it?
That chick fucking hurts, by the way.
Yeah, that was probably her sword.
Does someone want it?
I mean, if it's not cursed, that sounds great.
The last thing we need is one of us having a cursed weapon.
It's not cursed. I don't think.
You don't think? Now you're not so certain.
What would be the chances that Amsen gave me 3 cursed things?
I mean...
With our luck?
It's Amsen, so pretty high.
This is something that is just now developing. I don't think I've ever given anyone cursed items before.
Look, if it happens 3 times, that makes it a tradition, and we don't want that.
It's not cursed. It'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm partial to my staff, so I'll pass, but...
I wouldn't mind taking a look at it, personally. But Meli, if you wanted, I'd be fine with you having it as well.
I was just going to show you guys the cool sword. I don't think I'd be very good with it.
Okay.
So
well,
you take
does
it.
anybody else want it?
I can't really use it.
Yeah, hell no.
I mean, I like to use swords, but I don't know if I need it.
You've got a pretty awesome sword, Ball.
I think it's a little short.
Kalvyn?
I think I'm fine with what I'm currently equipped.
Alright. Well, I'll see what this is then, and find out.
So you take an hour to attune to the blade?
Or, I guess, and whatever else we're doing for that day.
Yeah, I'm going to take the skull. So I'm going to the Temple of Ayin. Did you want to bring this there? Or should I bring it to a different temple?
There, or Val of Soul, I suppose.
Kalvyn, do you have any preference?
Whatever y'all want to do with it is fine.
Okay. I'll take it with me then. Amsen, you're busy with that. Does anyone want to come with me, or I don't mind going by myself?
I'll head that way with you. I'll probably need to stop by the Temple of Our Soul.
Okay.
I can come too if you want. That'd be helpful.
Sure.
So Kalvyn, Meli, and Vesper are going to head towards the temple area. Amsen, are you just hanging out in the boat with a sword, Ball, Ezekiel? Anything in particular? Going with them, or?
If Paul gets a moment with Ezekiel, he'll pull him off to the side and say, "Do you know how to swim fast?"
Not particularly. I mean, I can swim, but why do you ask?
I have a race to make.
A race? With your, friend from earlier?
Yes. Last time I was wearing armor, but this time I won't.
Well, I don't have any particular tricks. I could enhance your strength if you come see me before you go for the race.
Okay, I'll see if I have time.
Please do. And Ezekiel's just going to hang on the boat so he can be there for his friend.
While everything else is going on, I'm going to take this opportunity to write a letter home. Not giving too much detail about anything dangerous that we've been doing. Trying to basically just keep it light and talk about the fun parts. I have a question, though, before I decide what else I'm going to do. Do I know if Shurza has started getting involved in the shadier aspects of the family business at this point?
Doesn't seem not yet. Seems like Arthur's been trying to keep her out.
Okay. So I'm going to take out the pages of secrets and just kind of stare at them for a while after writing my other letter. But then I don't think I'm going to write anything yet, and I'll just put them away.
Okay. So as you're writing your letter, Ezekiel and Ball are kind of hanging out. Amsen is attuning to the blade. Kalvyn, Meli, and Vesper head towards the Revenant Ark, heading back up in that direction, reaching it after a few minutes' walk as you see the temples before you. Which ones are you going to?
I think Kalvyn's going back to the forge, she said?
To the Volsol temple, yeah.
Okay. And, okay. So as Kalvyn, you kind of part with Meli and... Meli, are you going with Vesper or are you going with Kalvyn?
With Vesper.
So as you part Kalvyn, you go towards the temple of Alisol. Entering within, you see the stained glass lets in the sunlight, painting the entire stone floor with yellows and golds and reds. It's a pretty temple, especially now there's no clouds in the sky, so the sunlight is strong.
Kind of take in the side a little bit, kind of go slow-paced for a few, looking around, see if I can't see the high beacon.
Okay. Taking it slow, looking around, you see the painting that has been slowly being painted on the walls and parts of the ceiling is slowly filling in. It's not completed, but it's getting there. You can see the light is strongest and most golden in the center. You see all the way from the ground floor where you are to the ceiling at the top. And it's maybe 4 or 5 stories tall. And you see the top is stained glass as well, opening, letting the sun directly in from above you, painting the center of the room in that gold light. You can hear the hammering of the anvils and hammers outside next to the sun forge. And a kid comes up. A kid you recognize. Hey, old man.
Oh, hi there, Sonny. I'm having a hard time finding things. You happen to know where the high beacon is?
That's because you're old. Yeah, I'll go get him. And he sprints off. As this kid typically does, he almost never walks, he just runs. He runs out towards the forge. A minute or two comes by as you see the beacon coming back in. He's not wearing his full armor. He does wear his pauldrons typically and his arm guards, but not the rest of it. You can see him as he comes back. He's wearing a cape, a mantle on his back of white with the golden sun on it, with brass kind of buckles that attach to his shoulder pauldrons. As he comes back in. Kalvyn, good to see you. He comes and shakes your forearm.
Hi, Beacon. I appreciate you spending so much time with me these past few days. I hope I can steal a few more moments. Would it?
It is my glory to do so.
Appreciate that. I would like to look into, if not complete, my oath.
You ready?
I think so. I hope so. Maybe?
Stay here. He turns and kind of gestures to a few others. Open the sun. Let its light radiate down. As he gestures, 2 other acolytes of Alisol move over to the sides of the walls where you see large chains run from the ground floor all the way up to the top, and they begin to grab them and clanking and pulling down these chains. Slowly you see the eye at the top, like a shutter, begin to slowly open up, letting a not stained light, but pure radiant sunlight down. Where once was this sort of golden tint, there's now this very light, warm light of the sun that radiates down towards the center of this temple. The beacon comes back to you, taking from the altar in the back a spear that's kind of stood on its end to point up towards the ceiling. He takes it, retrieves it, and moves back towards you. You ready?
Kalvyn will nod.
He gestures for you to kneel on one knee.
Kalvyn will do so.
Kalvyn, and the radiance of Valisol's light, Will you carry with you the defender's shield, bearing its weight upon your back?
I will.
And will you defend Dawn's hope for those who need you?
With all my strength.
And will you drive out the shadow, acting in your virtue of protection, becoming the Solar's light in darkness?
I will.
Then, in the light, as a beacon of Valasol, I knight you as illuminate of our god Valasol, bearer of the sun's shield and wielder of light's spear. He places the spear on one shoulder, raises it, places it on the other, for gesturing you to stand.
Stands up.
I was given this when I was illuminate. I took it with me, and the light of Valasol where I travelled, to the best of my ability, with my glory of guidance and my virtue of truth. He kind of walks behind you as he unclips the brass buckles that kind of keep his mantle on his shoulders. He walks behind you, places one over, and then the other, clicking them in. Wear this mantle of the sun as a luminant. Carry the light with you, wherever you go. He kind of comes back to face you.
It will be my honor.
And it is my honor to knight you as such. And Kalvyn, you can feel the warmth of the sun on your shoulders. Even through the cape, it feels not hot, but a comfort. You look up as the sunlight radiates down. You see flakes swirling as the light crystallizes off them. And for a moment, the brightness envelops your vision. And you see just white and gold of the sun. You blink, and you see something else. You see a tower, dark, crimson black stone. But at the top you see the shining sun, the light rays of luminance radiating from it. It flickers as you see shadows wailing in rage and terror, swirling about the tower. The light flickers once more before going out, as your vision comes back to you, as you look down from the light, and you see the beacon, Abdelar, standing there with one hand on your shoulder.
Is that normal? What was that?
I'm not sure. He looks at you with a furrowed brow.
The tower, the radiance, the shadows. You didn't see none of that?
Not in some time.
What does it mean? What is it?
What did you see?
There was a tall spire, and then there was sun was radiating down on it, infuriating these shadows around.
The dark entities of shadow and the hells are met with fear when they see the light of our God, the light you carry with you. I know not of what you saw, but I know what you hold in your hand, and he gestures towards your spear. What you bear on your arm, and he gestures towards your shield. And I know the sunlight will bless you.
I think I've seen this tower before, when I first found the spear. Is that something in Valasol's lore that might be connected?
There is Valasol's beacon of light. It shines each day as what most call the sun. There's not a dark spire, not a red or black. Let me consult with what text I have. I'm not familiar.
Okay.
But for now, honor your glory and virtue, not the defender. Keep your oath and vow as illuminate, and keep that mantle of the sun on you. It will protect you.
Thank you again.
It was my honor to do so. Before you leave, come see me, or I will write you with what I found.
Okay, yeah. I think we leave the day after tomorrow, so I'll try to stop by tomorrow, if that's alright.
course. I'll be quick.
Thank you.
He nods and heads back to a side room where you imagine his room is. And you are left wearing this white mantle with the golden sun emblazoned on its back.
I think for at least the first couple hours or so, Kalvyn's going to treat it like a girl with a new dress, kind of holding it up, trying to make sure it doesn't brush any dirt or anything. Trying to, like, nope, no, god dang it. Mistake, nope.
And as you do that for a little while in the temple, you become attuned to it. And I'll tell you what that does. Meli, Vesper, you guys enter into the temple, the very simple on the outside temple of Ayin. Its center is where the altar is, surrounded by a circle of flowing water that runs in a circular direction.
I'll look around for the redeemed.
Okay. You look around, you see a few acolytes, and you do see on one cot there seems to be a wounded individual where the redeemed seems to be working, healing.
I will head over.
Okay. You head over as she's kind of finishing up bandaging this individual. She kind of looks up.
I'll do the traditional symbol bow thing.
She returns it.
I was hoping I could talk to you for a moment.
Yes.
There's a couple things, but most importantly, my friends and I have found a very dangerous artifact, and we think you might be the best person to take care of it.
You have it here with you?
Yes.
She nods and begins to gesture and walk towards the altar. As she does so, Meli, you see before you an older female, maybe in her 50s, silvery golden hair. It seems more silver than gray, almost the color of moonlight. She has blue eyes with shards of gold around the pupil. She's slender, wears a simple brown cloak with a little simple belt and a quiver around her waist with a longbow on her back. She crosses over the water and turns and kind of waits by the altar. Who's holding the skull?
I think I am.
Okay. So as you're walking towards the altar, Meli, you step over the water. Vesper, you're stopped. You try to cross and you cannot.
I can't cross the water.
Is the artifact in that sack?
It is.
Place it down.
I do.
Of course. She pulls her longbow.
I try to cross, not that I'm not holding it.
You step over. All right. She puts her longbow back up, and you follow her as she kind of steps across out of the central water to the sack, taking it over into a corner where there's a small pillar of water.
Meli, you said that it talked to you in your mind, right?
Yeah, turns out it has a name called Ilthero.
I don't know this name. Let us see it.
I'll hand her the sack.
Okay. She takes it, and without reaching in, she kind of turns it upside down and has it flop out onto the floor.
It was being used by a necromancer. And Meli, you said it opens a portal to the Shadowfell?
Yeah, if you complete the ritual.
She takes some of the water, anointing her hands, and reaches out towards it without touching it, closing her eyes. Her eyes flicker for a moment. Well, it's not fiendish in nature. It seems magic, but beyond that. Have you tried to destroy it?
No, we brought it to you to see if you had a way of destroying it. We didn't want to free it or anything. Or hurt one of us.
She moves over next to one of the cots where someone's sleeping and looks like there's a walking cane, and she just brings it over and swings it over and tries to come down, cracking on top of the skull. There's a crack, and a few splinters go as the wooden cane breaks. I figured as much. Worth a shot.
That man's cane?
Yeah, plenty.
Okay.
I can perhaps try a ritual, but I'm not sure.
We figured you'd know better than us.
I'll have to pray for this. Pray for Ayin to redeem this deceased skull. and part with it whatever foul soul resides within it. I'll plead that case. Bring it to me tomorrow.
Can't we leave it here? It's already gotten into one of our minds. I don't want it to... We're staying on a boat. I don't want anyone else to stumble on it, or...
Well, if we keep it in the sack, no one will mess with it. There's more people here for it to corrupt.
She moves in close, kind of looking over her shoulder towards some of the wounded people. We accept many with our healing and medicine. Some redeemed, some yet to be so. If I cannot protect it in the circle. How long have you had it?
A few days. Not more than 3, I don't believe.
If you are uncomfortable with it, I will keep it. I will stay up the night if I have to. I prefer not stay in this temple. It is your choice.
We'll take it back and bring it tomorrow.
Take this. She kind of reaches into a satchel nearby the cot. There are some, looks like medical supplies and such. She pulls out 2 vials, fills them up with the water from that basin on the small short pillar. It's what has been blessed, I'm not sure. If you don't need it, but you'll have it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I will hand that and the skull sack back to Meli.
She turns back and heads into the center circle of water and kneels praying at the altar.
I had another request.
She doesn't open her eyes, but her head tilts.
As I'm on my pilgrimage to hopefully become redeemed myself, I was hoping to learn more of what Ayain's grace is capable of. My friend and I, my brother and I, had an encounter a month or so ago, a little over a month, where we perished. And through the grace of Baltimary and Ayain, we were brought back to life. And if something were to happen to any of us on my journey, it would be my responsibility to bring them back, and I don't know how to do that.
That's because you do not do it, just as I do not.
How would I channel her in that way?
Pray with me.
I'll look to Meli and then go and kneel beside her.
Okay. She scoots over to make a little room in front of the altar, and she silently prays.
I do the same.
Okay. Meli, do you leave her there?
Yeah. I'll head back to the ship, because I've got stuff to do now.
Okay. Ezekiel, Ball, Amsen. Amsen, as you attune over the next hour or so, holding it, swinging it every now and then, flipping it over, you feel it grows colder in your hand. You flick your wrist a few times, and as you do so, there's a shudder of cold shadow that forms, about the length of a dagger before it disappears again. You try for the next hour or so, and eventually it resembles flames of black, but as cold as ice and as hard as moving metal. As you conjure this shade saber, it's kind of curves up with a flaming shape.
How do I feel?
Fine. You can kind of toss it between your hands. You get quick enough to where you can put it out and then summon it very quickly. You can hold it in one hand and 2, and you can feel the coldness kind of coalescing around it. You feel powerful, fast. It's as light as just the hilt itself.
Alright. Then I'll kind of juggle it around a little bit, flip it over, throw the handle up in the air, flip it, grab the handle again. It feels good. Alright. I'll put it away, stow it on my belt, and I'll go back onto the deck of the boat then, and just keep an eye out for anybody else.
Okay. Ball and Ezekiel, were you guys doing anything in particular?
No, I wasn't.
While I'm on the boat, I'm going to take that book about the waystones that I bought the other day, and my stone slab, and see if there's any correlation between the markings on mine and the arcane ley lines that they talk about, or even the waystones.
Okay. Make a wisdom check.
15.
So you look at the few constellations that are described on the waystones, as well as their location and other descripting factors. You look, there's some overlap. It's hard to tell because the stone, it seems harder to read during the day. It seems easier to read at night when there's stars above. You do notice there is some overlap with one of the waystones that's described in the Harsama, which is the desert far to the east of you, far to the east of the Ainel, eastward over the sharp and tall ridges of the obsidian fracture, and into the dunes itself. You see there's some overlap there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And you also get, actually, as you're doing this, kind of channeling your senses and perception into the nature, trying to see if there's a connection to these, trying to read the stone as best you can. As you do so, some visions will kind of press themselves across your mind briefly. You briefly can smell salt, dry, arid air. You see the dunes. You see an obelisk of sandstone, mountain face. And as you're checking some of the other constellations and star patterns, you see a dark, sinking place, acrid air, musty. You see still black waters of a swamp. You see a leaning old stone tower covered with growing vines and moss, and you hear words in your ear. Forget fright, still waters. As you're trying to figure out what that means, you see something else. You see waves splashing against brown stone, the waves of the sea, and they're pulled into a mouth, a cave of this rock, just at the edge of the ocean. The waves flow in over as your vision shifts inside a mouth and maw of sharp, black crystal quartz that lines the interior of this cavern. And you hear the words as you look inside. Sphinx, black quartz, judge my vow. And as this happens, Amsen, you eventually see Meli. And Kalvyn, do you eventually, after you get used to your cape, head back to the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. Go back to the ship as well.
I lied. There was something else I wanted to do.
Okay.
I wanted to try to find, probably after meeting up with them, was my idea. I would meet up with them and be like, hey, I got one more thing I gotta do. I'll meet y'all on the ship. And then, I would like to, go and try to find those hounds that were with us when we went down into the crypt, and then we found them to get some information regarding the Shadow Links, Ronnie and Donald. I don't remember their real names.
Okay. You can ask around about them. Give me a persuasion check.
And an 11.
Okay. You ask around, and it sounds like they're off. You do find a hound that's like, listen, they're off. They're not working today. What do you need?
We become friendly, and I'm just trying to talk to them about something. Mind your own beeswax, boy.
All right, we'll have fun finding them.
Your mom find? Yeah, I will.
What was that? He puts his hand on the hilt of his blade.
What? I said I will. I will find fun finding them.
Okay.
That's what I was referencing.
That's what I thought you said.
Then why did you ask?
Get out of here.
I was leaving before you interrupted me and was like, hey, what did you say? And I was like, and then you did it. Y'all are so confusing. I don't know what to do with y'all.
He turns around and just walks away.
I guess I head back to the boat. I done lost my resource.
So without finding Ronnie or Donnie or whatever their names were, you head back to the ship. Vesper, it's been a couple hours of praying and she hasn't broken.
I try and keep in prayer as well.
Okay. So eventually, the rest of you, when it gets closer to the evening, the sun still hasn't set. The rest of you make your way back to the ship, gathering together as Vesper remains praying in the temple to Aiain. And that is where we're going to pick up next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Back to the Story. For notifications when an episode goes live, you can find us on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. Download the app and subscribe or favorite us there. If you'd like to contact us, you can tweet us at back2_the_story. If you can't fit it into 280 characters, you can email us at thebonfirefables@gmail.com. And if you'd like further information about the campaign, the player characters, NPCs, or behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, follow us on either Twitter or on our Tumblr website. Lastly, if you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.